In the spring of 1900, a crew of Greek sponge divers was caught in a storm and forced to shelter beside a tiny island called Antikythera. While they waited, one of them dove to look for sponges. He surfaced in a panic, babbling about a heap of dead bodies on the sea floor. They weren't bodies, they were statues, bronze and marble arms reaching out of the sand. The divers had stumbled onto one of the richest ancient shipwrecks ever found. But the greatest treasure on that ship wasn't a statue. It was a corroded lump of bronze the size of a shoebox that shouldn't exist. Gentle and Siderachel fil Blackisnted of a shop and explain my eyes. Around 70 BC, a Roman cargo ship packed with Greek luxury goods, sculptures, glassware, coins, sank in these waters on its way, most likely, to Rome. For nearly 2,000 years, it sat 45 meters down in the dark. The Greek government launched the world's first major underwater archaeological excavation. It was brutal work. One diver died, 2 were paralyzed. The recovered treasures filled the National Museum in Athens. The bronze lump went into a crate. Nobody looked at it twice. Then, in May 1902, an archaeologist named Valerios Stais noticed the crate. The lump had split open as it dried, and embedded in the rock-hard corrosion he saw something impossible, a precisely cut bronze gear wheel. Gears like this weren't supposed to exist for another 1,400 years. Experts dismissed it. Surely it was a modern object that had fallen into the wreck, an astrolabe at most. The fragments went back into storage, and stayed there, mostly ignored, for 50 years. The most important artifact of the ancient world sat in a drawer. In 1951, a British physicist and historian of science named Derek de Solar Price became obsessed with the lump. He spent 20 years on it, and when he finally X-rayed the fragments, the picture that came back changed history. Inside were at least 30 interlocking gears. Price counted the teeth on the largest gear, 223. That number is not random. It's the number of lunar months in the Saros cycle, the ancient key to predicting eclipses. This machine wasn't measuring anything, it was computing. But X-rays flatten everything into one image. The real breakthrough came in 2005 when a team hauled an 8-ton custom CT scanner to Athens. The machine couldn't leave the museum. The scans revealed the gears in 3D and something no one expected, writing. Thousands of Greek characters hidden inside the corrosion, invisible for 2,000 years. It was an instruction manual. The machine came with a user's guide, and now, finally, scientists could read what it was for. Here's what you did with it. You turned a small crank on the side. On the front dial, pointers moved through the zodiac, showing where the sun and the moon would be, on any date you chose, past or future. A little silver ball rotated to show the phase of the moon. On the back, 2 spiral dials. One tracked the 19-year Metonic calendar that keeps lunar months aligned with solar years. The other was the eclipse predictor. It told you the month, the day, and even the color of upcoming eclipses. Think about what that means. In a world where an eclipse was an omen that could stop a battle, this box made the heavens predictable. The god's most terrifying signal reduced to clockwork. And the math is hiding in the gear teeth. To model the moon, you need it to circle the zodiac 254 times for every 19 years of the sun. So the builders cut one gear train with exactly that ratio, 254 to 19. Every gear ratio in the machine is an astronomical constant, carved in bronze. But here's the genius part. The moon doesn't move at constant speed, it speeds up when it's closer to Earth. The builders knew, so they mounted one gear on another with a pin sliding in a slot, slightly off-center. The output speeds up and slows down, exactly like the real moon. They mechanically encoded an elliptical orbit. Without knowing, orbits were ellipses. 30 gears survive. The complete machine likely had more than 60, possibly tracking all 5 visible planets. Nothing this complex appears again in the historical record until European astronomical clocks. In the 14th century, 1,400 years later. So who built it? The inscriptions use dialect from Corinth's colonies, but many clues point to Rhodes, home of Hipparchus, the greatest astronomer of antiquity, whose lunar theory is literally built into that pin and slot gear. Cicero wrote that his teacher Posidonius, on Rhodes, had a device just like this, and it wasn't a prototype. The work is too confident, too refined. Whoever made this had made others before it. Cicero also describes Archimedes building 2 similar devices a century earlier. This was a tradition, a whole lost industry of scientific instruments. Which brings us to the question that keeps historians up at night. If the Greeks could build a mechanical computer, what else could they build? And why did we lose it? Part of the answer is brutal economics. These machines were toys for the elite, one-off masterpieces, not products. Knowledge this specialized lived in a handful of workshops, passed master to apprentice. It only takes one generation of chaos to break that chain. And chaos came. Wars, the collapse of trade, the burning of libraries. Bronze was expensive. Most ancient machines were melted down and turned into coins and weapons. The Antikythera Mechanism survived precisely because it was lost. The sea saved it from us. Today, the 82 surviving fragments sit in Athens. We still haven't found a second mechanism. Every ancient shipwreck discovered since gets X-rayed with one question in mind. Is there another one? The Antikythera Mechanism is not just an artifact. It's a warning. Technology doesn't only move forward. Knowledge can die. An entire civilization's peak achievement can vanish so completely that when we find it, we refuse to believe it's real. Which makes you wonder about all the empty pedestals, the inventions we'll never dig up, the books that burned, the ideas that died with their inventors. This has been the Invisible Museum, the stories museums don't show. If you want to see what else humanity lost, subscribe. The next artifact is already waiting.